that controller was the problem. If I was a gambling man, that was probably the functioning part of the sub. I reckon it was the shell that didn't work very well. Twice as appreciated. All right, here we go. We're going in. Ooh. Oven view, please. Why is it so bright? Whatever, let's add some minutes onto here. What's up, Shotgun? Twice baked goodness. Hopefully, we're on bake number 1.
Could you set this up so your voice activates which camera it switches to?
So, voice triggers have been on the to-do list for a while. They were partially implemented before 0.5. I had them using the Windows accessibility. What the hell? My pan warped. I had them using the Windows accessibility like stuff that, like, if you can't type, like Windows had a system for, like, you know, you dictate what you wanted it to type. It wasn't very good. It had like a ton of false positives, which was a bit of a bummer. Some people tried to use it to like clip, you know, like so if they said like clip that, it would. Well, see, voice attack used the same. I don't know what kind of weird magic voice attack did, because I used the same subsystem that voice attack used, because they also use the Windows accessibility. And mine was way worse than theirs. I don't know how. I tried really hard. They might have moved off of the Windows accessibility, but when I used it to play Elite Dangerous way long ago, it worked flawlessly. But when I implemented it, it didn't work. So then I was like, oh, I want to switch to Whisper, right? That's like the OpenAI, the open part of their shenaniganry, right? But that creates extra problems, right? Because there's a lot of different OpenAI, or there's a lot of different Whisper models. There's a lot of different Whisper implementations. They take different amounts of VRAM. And then I want to be able to do essentially with what my ad, like when my ads run and then like the caption comes up, right? Like you don't want to run 2 copies of Whisper, one for the subtitles and one for voice commands, right? So you need something to deliver the captions. So it's not just voice commands. I usually stream on Monday.
Soon.
Monday, I'm pretty consistent about Mondays. I don't really have a consistent other day. Sometimes I'll throw in like a Friday development stream. But the last, oh God, like 2 months have been kind of a disaster for that. So, but Monday is the one. The Monday baking stream is like, this is the the consistency, and everything else is negotiable. 7 p.m. Mm-hmm. 7, sure. So it needs to be able to do several things. It needs to, one, be able to pick the Whisper model that you use. So you can choose how much VRAM.
It's 7 o'clock somewhere.
Oh, thank you, Serenity. It needs to be able to, like, you know, choose the model, choose the execution thing, because you can either like evaluate Whisper on the CPU or the GPU, preferably the GPU. You need to be able to take those and deliver captions to Twitch for the closed captioning system. And then you also need to be able to deliver those captions to like a text source inside of OBS. And I just, I haven't gotten all that sorted out. It also doesn't help that because Castmate is written in JavaScript, if you go and look for bindings of Whisper to JavaScript, they're mostly designed for the web browser, which means they're running on WASM instead of native, which is about 20% slower. So, don't want to do that. So it looks like in order to do voice commands properly, I'm going to have to build basically an entire captioning system and the native binding between Node.js and some sort of native Whisper library. And that's just a lot to do. So I haven't. Also, as I learned, Whisper is not really designed for on-the-fly speech recognition. It's designed for like offline captioning. So in order to do like live captions with Whisper, you just keep reevaluating the model over and over again, burning more and more efficiency. I don't like React. But I've touched React Native, but I think React is a poorly designed framework, and I do not wish to work with it. It's also maintained by Facebook, which I do not like.
Everyone I've spoken to hates React.
It's my incendiary, if I want to make developer people on the internet mad, my incendiary opinion is React should be considered deprecated. It's not, but if I feel like being a troll, you know, that's my opinion. Ooh, hydration. There's nothing that React does that Vue.js doesn't do better. That's my actual non-trolly opinion. And I feel like the only reason React has as much steam as it does, thank you, Crawdhold. I have to go find where I put my, oh, there's my water bottle. I feel like React only has as much steam it was like sort of, I don't want to say first on the scene because like Angular and some other frameworks were before it, but it was the first to sort of adopt the
If
reactive.
React Native is owned by Meta, does that make it less secure?
I'm not sure I'd use the word secure. It makes it less good. Because Meta's not like Vue is a community project. There's the Vue I think it's just called the Vue Foundation. It might have a different name, but essentially it's just a community of people that have decided to maintain that thing. Whereas React was created by Facebook to build Facebook when they did that huge UI change. And then they've just been maintaining it ever since. Maintain in heavy quotes. So I use an open source one called Mealie, Mealie. And I have a NAS, which is like a little server box. So I just put it on my NAS. And it's pretty slick. You can just say import recipe, and then you just paste a URL of like a web page with a recipe, and it will slurp all the details, instructions, and stuff out of the web page and store it in there, along with like pictures and stuff. And it's especially nice for stream because I can dock the browser.
Like the kitchen company meal?
No, like the word, like I'm eating a meal, but with an I and an E on the end. Mealie. But because OBS has arbitrary browser docks, I can just dock the recipe. Here, I'll just, what am I doing? I can just be like, see, I can just put the recipe like right next to the stream.
Meal.
Mealie.
Hey, look, it's me.
No, there's you. Infinity. Very, very many screens.
Wow, you have to look through 10 cables to see this message.
I don't have to look through the cables because I'm not standing where this camera is. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Zoom out. But I also gave up on the cable management a long time ago. There's too many cables. That screen is mounted to the wall, yes. I bought a wall mount just for it. It depends where the cables are managed. I could stand to do a better job underneath my desk, because sometimes I'll bump a cable with like my foot, and I'll be like, I should really bundle that up somewhere away from my feet. And in a way, like there's cables that go up and above and down. Those are like attached to the wall.
I know a
in
company
a sort
that's
of
using
managing.
React Native for their OS. It's very simple, so I guess it's good with them.
So there's some management, just not. I'm pretty sure if Linus came in here, he would scream. That said, I would really like some of those like magnetic cable guides that he's got. That's a good idea.
What did you steal from Linus's office?
I've never been to Linus's office. He's in Canada. I can't steal anything from there. Plus, I'd have to pay tariffs on it now. How much time we got? Oh, fault line. There's a fault
Let's say
line.
you could. What would you borrow but never return?
I don't know. Don't most people just like steal like PC parts? There's no way I'm walking out with one of those really expensive 3D printers. And I feel like their cameras are well
That's what
accounted for
PC
too.
part picker is for.
I don't know. Maybe some sort of fancy keyboard or something? I don't know.
MGM.
Maybe a microphone? I wish I had a more creative answer for you, but I don't. Maybe that's mostly because I'm fairly happy with my setup, and the things I don't like about my setup are too expensive to be reasonable. Though I really want to ditch these Sony cameras. I want to go all in on Blackmagic Studio Micros desperately. 4K, 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 4K at the desk because why not? I'd probably keep a Sony one for the desk.
That's more cables.
You know, it's the same number of cables. It's one power and one connection cable. But in order to do that, it's $1,000 for the body without the lens. So, you know, throw in lenses on top of that because the Sony lenses are E-mount and they are a different mount. I forget which one. So you're looking at like $1,250 a pop.
Can you stream 4K to Twitch?
It's not about the streaming of the 4K. Well, one, 4K streaming is in the works for Twitch, but I don't think that's its value. It has two values to me. The first of which is to be able to do digital zoom. When I had the face tracking on, I haven't turned it back on because I'm afraid of crashing OBS. When I had it on and I zoomed in, it was zooming the 1080p source in and stretching it, which doesn't look very good. If I had a 4K source, I could zoom in and wouldn't lose any detail. What's up, Walter? The second is if I ever get my shit together and start recording YouTube videos, 4K looks so much better. Client-side encoding? Well, they have the Twitch Enhanced Broadcast beta, which lets you encode the full chain on your...
I could see Twitch adding a Turbo Plus which lets users watch in 4K.
On your hardware, right? So like I'm currently using my 4090 to encode 1080p, 720p, 480p. I forget if that's the correct one for 16:9. And then like even below that, there's like a 360p or like 240 or something like that. It's real low. So we're using... I'm not sure if they offload the encoding costs away onto like the streamer's hardware. I'm not sure they have to bump up their prices to do 4K delivery. Because they don't have to re-encode, which is the expensive part. We got some splitting going on. Don't like that. Wow, 60 seconds late on the dot? I had a new thought about why Twitch ads are late. What if the server time doesn't line up with the time that like everyone else is having? So like what if the clock is off? Right? Like if my computer says the ad is supposed to start at 10:04 because it's 10:03 right now. And my computer gets to 10:04, but what if the server responsible for the ads is only on 10:03 instead of 10:04? And that's why they're late. What if they're not late at all and it's just clock drift?
Visit the servers and see.
Yeah, I gotta go break into the server farm. Oh no, I'm not here to rob the place. I'm just here to check your system clock. I mean, it is some major clock drift, but after I added some timing, but I mean, it doesn't
So
necessarily
you're saying
mean
that Twitch's servers are still wrong since Y2K?
it doesn't necessarily mean that the clock drift would be uniform because there's more than one server, right? They're a cloud. They got a bunch of boxes, right? They've deployed their servers out to one. So you might get one with a minute of drift, and you might get one with 55 seconds of drift. And you might get one. This is a biscotti on its first bake, as they are twice baked. This is bake number 1. They are a cloud. And they should be time syncing frequently. But are they?
What's why I asked about boxes and clouds.
I was really hoping that I went to a Twitch meetup this past week, and I was really hoping that there'd be some staff people there that I could bug. It's chocolate bread. That I could bug. I really wish I would have gotten some sort of card or something.
At Lordtocs is an IRL Twitch bug.
Right? But anyway, there wasn't anyone there really to talk to about it. And that's a bummer.
I'm on your side. Going through the staff is the only way to make somewhat of a change.
Sometimes, Serenity. It depends on what I make. Sometimes I'll eat it over the course of like the whole week, right? Sometimes there's too much, in which case I'll bring it to like my D&D group, or like other people, and foist baked goods upon them. Although my D&D group hasn't met for a while, and one of them's out of town, and the other one's having a baby soon, so it's looking like we may not be able to meet for D&D for like 3 to 4 months. I mean, okay. They want the content of the ads to be unpredictable, but they should be predictable so that the streamer can plan for them. Right? You don't want to get the same ad every time. Looking at you, Jeep. If I have to watch friggin' Harrison Ford try to sell me a Jeep one more time, I'm going to lose it. I'm going to lose it. I don't want a Jeep. I live in Manhattan. I do not need a Jeep. I do not need any car. The number of car ads I get served for this particular location is a little mind-boggling. I don't need a Jeep. Where would I even put it?
Unpredictable ads. But companies pay for their ad to be seen more, and people also connect their Amazon account, so that would influence it, no?
Off-road in Central Park. There's an RFK joke in there somewhere. We can go off-roading and dump some dead bears in Central Park. It'll be grand.
I've never seen this Jeep ad.
It was like their Super Bowl ad, and they must have paid an absolute dump truck for it because they got Harrison Ford to be in an ad. Whose whole vibe is, I don't want to do anything, so pay me. How do I know if my biscotti is done? I don't know. Maybe poke it? Is this a poke situation? I need something.
No way Harrison Ford owns a Jeep.
I don't know. He lives on a ranch in the middle of nowhere. So, all right, hold on. Let me not stab myself. Go into my
Harrison Ford
PC.
owns a Ford. Come on.
He makes a joke about that in the ad. Is this gonna load? What is this? What am I looking at? Is he playing World of Warcraft with a pose estimator? All right. Thanks for the lurk, Dragon Tinker.
Just empty every pocket.
There is. What's up, Rob? Good to see you. I think he's like crashed 2 planes too. The man should be nowhere near an aircraft at this point.
Get off my plane.
Get off my plane. I forgot about that movie. Haven't seen that in a long time. I mean, we're gonna take it out and we're gonna chop it up and then we're gonna shove it back in the oven. So I don't think it really matters all that much. As it goes, they're twice baked.
I'm not shocked that Jeep is owned by the same people who own Fiat.
Did I? Dry off! Dry off! Dry off! Check the oven! Everyone panic! Ah!
God damn it, I am seriously foobar.
I'm seriously foobar. Wait, Walter, what?
Fubar Season 2 releases this
Oh,
year.
you worked on the Chipotle ad? Hell yeah. That's cool. See, I wish they'd served me a Chipotle ad. I at least have a Chipotle on my street. Not that I go to it, but there is one. Oh man, I should have put chocolate chips in there. That's all right. We'll coat it in chocolate or something. Can I get this? Can I get this sucker off the sheet? Or are we gonna have to? We might have to cut and then put onto a new one. I think that's what we'll do. We'll put this over there. Here's what we're gonna do. I can't get it. There we go. Release. Be free. There we go. And now we'll just put a new one. Perfect. I want to cut them a little diagonal so that they're a little longer. This isn't a good camera angle. Let's pretend we know how to use a camera. I mean, we don't, but we can pretend. And pretending's pretty good. I hope this silicon's okay to cut on. The knife has gotten hot. I have thought about getting one of the little Elgato ones and mounting it to the top of him so that he has his own light. But I think we're better off just taking Walter's advice and building the mega softbox. Just the biggest softbox that we can possibly construct and mounting it to an arm coming out of the wall. Though Walter did make a good point about the positioning of the light would be not great. I have to figure out how to like get it. I have to solve this arm location before I can handle that, because where the light panel would go sort of intersects where the arm for the camera is at the moment, and that's a problem. So we sort of have like a prerequisite problem to solve before I can tackle that problem. I don't know. Perhaps I should just spend way too much money. We'll get those fancy new Blackmagic cameras. We'll get a giant light box. We'll get a new piece of furniture to mount the camera arm on. Man, did this cook all the way through? We'll spend $5,000 on all new equipment.
DJ spots and lasers.
Sub goal. Yeah, DJ spots, lasers. Oh yeah, we had tons of time.
DJ spots go all crazy when someone subs.
Fog machines. Confetti cannons. A siren. We might need 2 trays.
All of that goes off when gifted 100 subs.
100's a bit steep. Propane. I'm sure my landlord will love that one. Be standing in front of some judge, Your Honor. I didn't know the pyrotechnics would burn down the whole
Old spark
building.
machines.
At most, I thought I'd lose a cabinet. I don't know what a cold spark machine is. Or is it gonna fit? Is it gonna fit?
So with the biscotti, you just leave it out for a week so it hardens up.
No, you chuck it back in the oven. You bake them twice. Well, we baked it once. We've had one bake, yes.
I will just take what doesn't fit on the tray.
But what about a second bake? Damn it.
Cold spark machines are special effects devices that create a fountain of sparks without heat or flame. They are often used at events like weddings and other gatherings. How they work: compressed air, electricity, and a mixture of zirconium and titanium powder are used to create the sparks. The grains are heated to 62 degrees Fahrenheit. The sparks are cooler than body temperature and non-flammable.
Cool. That doesn't sound like a pain to clean up at all. Well, it tastes pretty good.
There is nothing to clean up.
You don't think that firing all that around won't leave like a residue or something?
Risehu.
Anyway, we'll get all the effects. We'll budget $5,000 for cameras, and then another $5,000 for ridiculous effects. Now, does anyone have $10,000 they can loan me? Asking for a friend. Definitely not the aforementioned effect budget. Go out, Mr. Light. What are you doing? What the heck? Oh yeah, we gotta add another 5,000. We need
Sure
15,000.
for 20% interest rate.
Jeez. I forgot about the magnetic
While
cable
considered
management.
relatively clean compared to traditional pyrotechnics, cold spark machines can still leave a small amount of fine, powdery residue on surfaces, especially if used in a confined space, so you might need to do some minimal cleanup depending on the venue and how heavily the machine is used. This residue usually washes off easily with a damp cloth.
Well, it's a good thing I don't live in a confined space. You know, my spacious New York apartment. We'll put some time on the clock.
The two windows will hell.
The two windows were hell. Well, the good news. I'm not really sure. I always sort of baked, like, at least cookies. Even when I was a kid. So I assume my mom? And then I went to college, and I was sort of I would like bake on my like dorm room floor. They had like the terrible like
Tox is a
shared
baking
kitchen
engineer.
with an oven that was somehow even smaller than this one. Like but I'd like bake stuff for my dorm floor. And when they'd request stuff. They'd be like, we're going to get like super high Friday night, can you make brownies at like 11 p.m.? Because they're gonna smoke a ton of weed and then wanted snacks. So I just bake stuff for like stoned people. Which is, you know, if you're going to give people baked goods, I don't think there's a more grateful group of people than an incredibly stoned, really hungry
Oh, I thought you put the wheat in
bunch
the
of people.
brownies.
Oh, no, no, no. No, they specifically wanted snacks. You know, like fresh out of the oven brownies or cookies or something like that. They'd sort of like, they'd get real high. You know, they like play Xbox and smoke. And then they'd have like their snack time. Sounds like a 5-year-old. It's snack time. No, they'd have like their snack time, and then they'd put on like a movie on a projector in the common, like there's one common room on the floor, and then they'd just like eat brownies and watch a movie very high. Pumpkin pie from stolen cafeteria ingredients? Well, that's incredible. How do you get pumpkin? Damn. That's an achievement.
Meanwhile, Tox was the floor manager.
I wasn't the RA, but I hung out with the RA that year. He was like right next door. Aw. Damn. Had roasted pumpkin. Oh.
What was the best thing you baked for them?
I mostly just did like chocolate chip cookies and box brownies. I don't think I ever strayed past that. So probably the chocolate chip cookies, but box brownies are pretty damn good. Like the Ghirardelli box brownies, those things taste amazing. But also like limited equipment because there wasn't really prep space.
I bet they
What's up,
tasted
friendly
better
friend?
when the floor was high.
Oh yeah, they love that shit. And they were super cool about it, you know? They were like an organized bunch of stoners because they still like did all their like schoolwork and stuff. And they'd plan ahead. You know, they'd be like, we're going to do this on Friday at this time. They were weirdly organized bunch of stoners. They'd like they'd get movies from the Red Box because, you know, Netflix wasn't really a thing yet. Set up the little projector. It was a good time. That was a good year. The following year, I was in the dorm and the RA was terrible. But that year, the RA was great. I don't know why I'm looking at these like they're going to have some huge change. They're just drying out. They're just drying out. Oh, there's not a lot of there's a lot of waiting involved in this episode. This recipe. I did not realize. I suppose I should have known by the whole twice baked type deal. But there ain't a lot going on, is there? It's all right. We'll survive. I'm very close to the castmate update. Thanks, Shotgun. I've deployed it. Oh, that's nice.
As a software engineer, how can I avoid Netflix is not the same location thing?
I should have added espresso. I forgot. I kind of want to get an espresso machine. I got a coffee grinder. I got a really nice coffee grinder. And it all started because I was gifted some coffee beans for Christmas. And I was like, oh, this is great, but I have no way to make the coffee beans into coffee. So I ordered a Kinu Classic hand grinder. And it's a really nice grinder. It can grind for espresso. I have it set right now for pour over. I got a little pour over doohickey. You know, got my pour over set up. Just because it was simple. And plus, I had been putting off, I'd wanted an electric kettle for a long time. And I was like, oh, I'll get an electric kettle. Could be a good excuse. You know, I think this is the OXO. Yeah, this is the OXO one. You know, so I went on a little pour over setup. But we're slightly future-proofed with this grinder in that I could do espresso with it. So, you know, part of me wants to get an espresso maker, but I do have tea. That's part of why I also wanted the gooseneck. I have a bunch of different teas in there. So now I've got like a lot of tea options, a lot of coffee options. You know, it's pretty good. I'm liking it. And the nice bit about the grinder is it's a hand grinder, so it doesn't take up any of the precious, like, countertop space. I can just put it in there. Is this on? No. It's just flashing because I picked up the pot. Okay. We'll be getting an AeroPress. Maybe? I don't know. I'm still new to the whole preparing coffee for myself type thing. I wasn't really a coffee drinker for a long time. And then I was very tired and I was like, I need energy. And then I watched a few too many James Hoffman videos.
Are you not allowed to say how to bypass Netflix's location lock?
I don't know. I don't know how to look. I don't know how to get past it. VPN, maybe? Can you VPN to your home? I have a stainless steel French press, actually. I have used it to foam milk. It's also up here. I haven't used it for the coffee, but... You know, it'll do the thing. It's got the, you know, this type of thing. I mean, like, if you're trying to share, you could have one home location, right? You get your milk basically to boiling, and then you put that in there, and you just go up and down really quickly, and it will it'll foam it. Probably not as nicely as like a wand, you know, on like the steam wand on an espresso machine, but it does work. Because I wanted to make matcha lattes for myself. Because I had gotten some matcha, and I'm a fairly basic human being, and I wanted the latte version of it. So I was like, how am I going to foam some milk? And then I saw, you know, someone's like, oh, you can use a French press to foam milk. And I was like, oh, they don't have a French press for normal French press use and also foaming milk. So that's why I purchased it instead of a dedicated milk frothing device. And it works pretty good. I just like measure out how much milk I want in like a mug, right? And then I would microwave the milk and then dump it in there and just pulse the crap out of it with the thing going up and down, and it would foam pretty well. Probably not good for like latte art, but passable foaminess. I mean, they don't care now, but they will. HBO Max was already discussing doing the same thing. Hulu, I'm surprised Hulu hasn't. Though. Oh, the stick ones? I've never tried the stick ones before. Are they ready yet? Not yet. Yeah, the known VPNs thing. I don't know. Netflix hasn't caught on because, well, okay. Because I watch Netflix exclusively in my browser, I'm still able to share my password with my parents because we're on a family plan, right, with our cell phone, and the cell phone bill comes with the Netflix. And because I watch through the browser, it doesn't stop me. It stopped me once, and I was like, oh man, they've implemented it finally. And then it stopped stopping me. And it just, if I pull it up on my smart TV, it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Too many households. But if I just pull it up in my browser, it's like, I don't, have at it, bro. And I think they just don't care because there's like not enough people using the browser to watch, but I mean, I hate smart TVs, so like even the Android TV one, like I have the Chromecast with Android TV or whatever it is, like not the old Chromecast, but the new Chromecast.
Did not know they had an app.
Oh yeah, like 90% of their viewership is through an app, either phones or smart TVs. Ain't nobody but us two using the browser. Interesting. They do know. They know all the things.
Browser FTW.
But I have screens attached to this PC like everywhere, so I just put it up on the stream monitor if I'm cooking. or I'll sit over there. I don't know. I hate mobile operating systems, and by extension, Android TV is also bad. It's not good at what it does. It made it ridiculously hard for me to. I have this automation set up. It took me really hard. It took me a really long time, and I had to do a lot of like software engineering work, detective work to make it work. But all I wanted was to fall asleep to some TV. Like, I want the TV to play some episodes of like Bob's Burgers or American Dad or something while I'm falling asleep, and then after 2 episodes, turn off, right? Not a hard ask. But to get the Android TV to do that, I had to get my Home Assistant connected to the Android TV through the Android debugger instead of the regular Android TV integration. And then I had to figure out the Hulu APK's start intents to resume a series, which took quite a bit of digging to figure out. So I could just be like, play the next episode of American Dad, right? Or play the next episode of Bob's Burgers. Because you could give it an episode with like the system basic intent, but you couldn't give it a series with the system. Like there's like a play Android wide intent that's supposed to be like, you know, every app that's a media player understands that intent. But it did not work for a series. So I had to like figure out what the hidden intent was. So I was like unpacking APKs and like crawling weird databases, and I got a completely unrelated like Reddit subreddit hit where someone had figured it out and they had posted it for something else, like in passing. And I was like, holy shit, there's the intent. And then I went and I tried it and it worked, and it was super exciting. I made a Home Assistant forum post because I was so excited when I found it. Later, Alex. Thanks for hanging out. Sleep well. See you next time. But anyway, I did get it eventually to work, and I do have a button in Home Assistant that plays 2 episodes of American Dad and then turns off the TV afterwards. But it does it.
Falling asleep
at
to
7.
Bob the Builder is crazy at Lordtocs.
Bob the Builder? No, Bob's Burgers. I'm not watching Bob the Builder. Good Lord. No. I definitely said burgers. I'm going to go check the VOD. I'm checking the VOD on that one. Excellent home improvement show. I did say burgers. Which, if we're on the subject of Bob's Burgers, what the hell is Fox doing? I know they got bought by, this is Disney's fault now. I can't blame it on Murdoch anymore. They aired half the season, got all the way up to Christmas, and haven't aired another episode since, and it's not even on the calendar. They got nothing.
Disney helped Deadpool, but Bob Burgers was ruined.
And then I gotta I get new episode of Grimsburg. I want Grimsburg. And the sort of, I don't know if I would call it a sister show. It's similar, The Great North. I love The Great North. Fantastic funny show. They aired a single episode from the new season. They aired one and have not aired any since. And it's similarly also not on the schedule. Why would you air one episode? I was like, oh, the show's back. I get to enjoy it now.
Is this on Hulu?
It is on Hulu. Just, I understand that, like, the Super Bowl and, like, New Year's kind of, like, is a break period, right? You don't want to waste your TV.
They fell asleep.
You don't want to waste the TV that you paid shitloads of money to produce, you know, in that area. Like, I get that. But to air one episode and then just not put it back on the schedule? What are you doing to me? It's okay. We got Invincible episodes to...
We are not fucking around with the butter
What's up, Saren?
today.
How are you? It is unfortunately Monday. I mean, it's fortunate in that it's my stream day, but it is also unfortunate. Oh, thank you. They should be dry-ish soon. I don't know. They still kind of look
Did you
a
like
little...
BoJack Horseman?
I was saying I was angry that they aired the new season of Bob's Burgers all the way up to the Christmas adjacent episode. And then they just stopped airing them, and they're not even on the calendar. So we don't know when any more new Bob's Burgers will be. There's a rumor it's May. I never finished BoJack. I liked the world of BoJack. I loved like the alliteration stuff that his agent would do. Bob's Biscotti. And then more infuriatingly than the lack of scheduling for Bob's Burgers is The Great North, which is like produced by some of the same people as Bob's Burgers, right?
Did you watch Disenchantment?
They aired a single episode of the new season of The Great North and have not put it back on the schedule since. It's not, they've already produced the whole season. So it's not like the animators were like, uh-oh, we need more time. I really liked Disenchantment. I feel like a lot of people didn't. Like the Simpsons and Futurama people, I feel like were unhappy with Disenchantment, but I loved Disenchantment. It had the perfect weird vibe for me. I liked it. It was a good time. Yeah, I didn't finish the BoJack Horseman because it got kind of weird towards the end. And I kept meaning to go back and finish it, and I just didn't. It got weird in the middle. Yeah, the writing on the Futurama... Well, okay. So, I'm torn. I'm torn on Futurama's new... Aren't they up to 2 new seasons now? There were some real stinker episodes in the first new season. It's not burning. Everything's fine. But I did enjoy some of the new episodes. I don't know. I also enjoy Rick and Morty. I am annoyed. I'm very angry at Justin Roiland for being turning out to be an asshole. Because despite that they got the new voice actors that sound really similar, they're still just not as good at voicing those characters as Justin Roiland was. And it detracts from the whole thing for me. And I don't want him to have his job back.
Futurama's
But I'm
writing
also
for
just
the new
upset
EPs
with the
were too on
voices.
topic and fresh.
Oh, Justin Roiland sent a bunch of creepy messages to like underage people on the internet. So they fired him and they replaced him. He got fired from his own game studio. He got fired from Rick and Morty. He got fired from Solar Opposites. And then they got two different people to voice. So instead of one, he used to voice both Rick and Morty, right? And now they're voiced by separate people. And they're pretty close. Like, I think Morty's voice actor is closer than Rick's is. And Rick's is pretty good when he's just talking. He's pretty good when he's just talking, but whenever he's like strained, like when he has to shout or something like that, it's just off. I don't know. It's just slightly off. Much in the way that like Troy Baker did an incredible impression of Harrison Ford for like the Indiana Jones game, but then there's just little moments where like it's just off. It's strange. I don't know. Maybe I'm more picky because a lot of people on the internet I read, they're like, oh, I don't even notice that they changed voice actor for Rick and Morty, but I hear it. I hear it all the time. And it's like, I feel like they are writing Rick a little more muted to like not push him out of like the zone that Rick like sits in. Like that his new voice actor is good at in. And I don't know. It's still really funny. The new episodes have been well written and are very funny, but I'm angry at Justin Roiland. You had all the money, you had all the clout. Why do you have to do that? What are you gonna do that for? Tainted, the otherwise excellent cartoon. Very intent. It's very action-packed, these biscotti. All right, this will have been 30 minutes for the first bake and 30 minutes for the second bake. Which one is Tox Jr.? I think we already ate Tox Jr. One of the offcuts. Let's give him a poke. Oh, bunch of steam.